Well, here's my GSXR 750. Bought this a few years back, had it road registered and was doing track days on it until I fell off. But once I did that, I changed the colour scheme over. I turned it to a blue and white scheme, which looks really nice, but in hindsight, I should have just bought race fairings. So it's always like that. You think you're doing the right thing, but you never know what's going to happen in the future. When COVID hit, I decided to deregister it. There's just no point having two bikes in a COVID world. So I took it apart, took the shocks out, got them resprung and serviced, and put a new radiator in it, and did a few other bits and pieces. And I took it to the track to see how it performed. It's very hard to ride because it's just so powerful. Have to be very careful when you're riding it compared to like the 250, which I was trying to obviously improve my riding on. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to 2022 getting into racing that. As you can see, when I try to turn to a track bike, my front wheel, it's all buckled. Yeah, it really shows up on the track, things like that. So I got a second-hand one. I wanted to go cheap, so I got my old fairings. I fell off, and I've made a belly pan out of it. So I just made a mold. Thought I'd take a couple of photos. So I made a mold, made a budget belly pan, and fitted that just to save costs, really. I don't know if I'm going to race it full time. So I thought if I do this and I really like it, I'll spend the money on race fairings. But until then, I had a front and a rear fairing extra, and then I also could make bits and pieces. So I stuck some clip-ons on. I took the headlight out. I made a bracket for the speedo. I had a few issues along the way. My chain snapped and did some damage. I fixed all that up, but there's a photo of the clutch, the push pin that goes through the side of the gearbox there. It was leaking out the seal. That seal can't be replaced. The previous model, it just takes two screws out of a plate and replace it. This one you got to open and split the crankcase to replace it. So I took a couple of photos. I pulled the engine out, pulled the engine right out of the bike and split it and repaired that seal. So one of the issues of that is there's no gasket in the crankcase. It's sealant. So you put the sealant in there, put it all back together, make sure everything's lined up. There's O-rings that have to match up with recesses, and you don't want anything to move. And then torque it up to the exact setting, and it was being perfectly fine since, so it didn't leak. That seal's all fixed, and I put a few new bolts and nuts and engine case protectors. I took those the emission control off that and put a new thermostat in while I was there. I put another fuel pump in it again. It's had one aftermarket. I put another fuel pump in it. Just try to do as much as I could to make it, a track-ready bike. I thought I'd paint the front and rear fairings, make them look a little bit better. I had to have race numbers on so I can compete. So just working through the process there. The photos, I made a little shark fin to protect your foot from the chain, lock wide everything. And yeah, the next couple of photos will show just painting the tail piece there. So I started off with the silver, just so it's underneath, and then the black front. I need to have a white background for the black stickers for Formula 1 since it's over 600cc. So I'd like to keep it black if I could. Looked really cool, but I had to put some white in the front there for my stickers. Yeah, so obviously it's a bit of a working process. It's a bit of a battler, but now I've got it up to the stage here. It's actually really, really good.